Are you going to tell them what we're going to do today? She's super excited. It's the first time I've seen you excited in a while. What's going on? Oh, the engine? You're right. So today, we need to clean some stuff up. First thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to remove the ABS module. We're not going to be using that. I'm sure I can find someone who can use that. So ABS module goes. Next thing is I'm going to back the car up because I want to remove all the control arms, the rotor, the hub, and the axles and everything and get the diff out from underneath. And I want to get rid of, if I can, the steering rack that's underneath. I basically want to strip everything but the engine, transmission, and transfer case out of this thing. Took me a second there. I got hung up. So first thing I'm going to do is probably grab a 12 mil and remove this ABS. Because of time, I'm going to be using this. Now, let's see how Mika reacts. Something tells me she's going to have to go inside. So much handier. I just ripped these bolts up and realized my camera wasn't filming. Go me. Cutting off the brake lines because they're incomplete. And then this can all go to the metal recycling because it's all metal brake lines. And the reason why I'm cutting these off, if I can get underneath these ones where I want to, is so that way I can get a socket on them and I don't have to do them all by a wrench. Because if I leave these on, I gotta do it by a box wrench. Actually, I guess I don't even have to take them off if I do this because that's the next person's problem. Perfect. Now that's gone, I'm going to see about jacking this up so I can access everything better. Took a quick second and decided throw it up on some jack stands so I can get around and remove everything I need. That's going to be a heavy part. I think I'm going to just remove the caliper separate, then I can slide the rotor off because otherwise that whole knuckle assembly, I know it's heavy. Make sure that you look for the outer parts like this. I'm going to first take the caliper off, then the rotor, and then work my way in. Because if you just go ahead and start cramming these bolts off, the whole assembly could just flop out and hurt you or someone else. And I mean, if you're trying to resell or do anything with some of the other parts, it might destroy them. So yeah, take your time. For right now though, it's nice to have it up. I think the next thing I'm going to do is actually take off the calipers because then I can remove the rotors, which will allow me to remove the hub, which will allow me to remove the knuckle, and so on and so forth, all the way working into that steering rack. Now that I got the caliper off and the caliper bracket, I'm noticing that yes, it is still quite heavy. But the thing is, that rotor is rusted on there. So now I have a couple options. I think I'm going to take the sway bar off first. After I take the sway bar off, then I'm going to drop the shock, and then I'm going to drop this last ball joint. And then after that, that entire part should come out. This is one of those perfect examples. See, I have the wood set up, so that way when I unbolt this and it rolls forward, it's going to land right on the 2x4 and the 2x6. That's what I mean by when you're trying to plan ahead when you're taking stuff like this apart. Make sure you're putting all your bolts inside a bucket. Even if you don't reuse it, it's a good habit to have. Remember, for ball joints, you have to loosen them up. When unscrewing certain ball joints, you might need something to hold at the bottom, whether it's a 10 mil or sometimes there's an Allen key head on the inside and you'd hold it with an Allen key and then wrench on here. Another reason, if you want to be nice to keep the ice cream bucket nearby, is chances are the person who's going to be picking the other parts up won't need the screws, but just in case they do, at least you have a bucket full of screws. So, and that's if you sell other parts. Now, I've completely loosened this hub assembly. Once again, careful of your toes, everything else like that. I'm going to just wiggle this out. Oh, look at that. It's all free. That drive shaft is completely broken out, so I'm not too worried. All that's free. I'm going to lift it up and get it out of the way. I got this side done. Let's go show you the other side. So you can see this is looking good too. Pulled out the steering rack that was right there and just started doing this side. Now, I wanted to show you this. If you take a look, this frame is bent. Like, see how that's done? Why is this big for you when you're taking stuff apart? Because the thing is even though that's bent, the bumper, let's say there's a bumper on here. The bumper might try to fling or spring back to the way it was when you try to loosen it off. It is really important that if you buy something like this and it has been an accident, anything that is under stress from the 2 points or anything like that, you need to be very careful of, because if it was bent in, like I said, if you go to pull it out, what can happen is it all of a sudden it'll just spring back. If your hand's in the way or anything, break your hand, or it's just gonna hurt a lot, or just lots of things like that. Either way, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit more, but just getting that stuff out of there makes it look a little bit better. As you can see, my pile is growing. And managed to fish out that one broken sensor piece that was on here. So twisted it, pulled it out, used a screw, just screwed a regular screw lightly into it and came right out. Other than that, I think that's where I'm going to be leaving it for right now until I get all the parts that I need. I just wanted to clean up all that crap. It was driving me nuts. Look at that steering, eh? He definitely hit something nice and hard. So, steering's done. He actually cracked another piece. As you've seen, he also cracked the diff. Thank gosh the motor is okay. So, other than that, I have to look into this wiring harness. I'm probably going to have to replace it, even though it's a perfectly good wiring harness. I need to do some more research. If I need to replace it, I will. It's just, I know that it's not a cheap wiring harness. I was taking a look and it's like $1,500 for a new one. But in the longevity of things, if it saves me a lot of time of rewire, maybe. But if not, and it's just a couple things I need to change, then I will open up this split loom and I will rewire it. But let's see where it goes. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks again for watching. And if you want to follow the project more, this is going in there.